Hello students, in this session I will be covering Annamalai University's MBA first year subject International Business. In this session I will be covering Unit 5, that is lesson 17 to lesson 20. Now lesson 70, role of ECGC. ECGC is formerly known as Export Credit Guarantee Corporation Limited. Now it is ECGC Limited. What do you mean by ECGC? The mission of ECGC is to support the Indian export industry. So specifically for export, as the name suggests, Export Credit Guarantee Corporation or ECGC Limited, by providing cost-effective insurance and trade-related services to meet the growing needs of Indian export market by optimal utilization of available resources. This is only for this organization or under the auspices of Government of India, is only for Indian export market. Okay, so that means exporters of the Indian market. The vision of ECGC is to excel in providing export credit insurance and trade related services. Okay, now what does ECGC do? Provide a range of credit risk insurance covers to exporters against loss in export of goods and services. So this is what ECGC do. ECGC offers insurance protection to exporters against payment risks. That means payment to be given by the importers at various countries. Provides guidance in export related activities. Makes available information on different countries with its own credit ratings also. These things makes it easy for the exporters to take decisions on whether to export or not. Now, what is the need for export credit insurance? Payments for exports are open to risk even at best times. Objectives. The corporation has set before itself the following objectives: to encourage and facilitate globalization of Indian export or India's trade, to assist Indian exporters in managing their credit risks, to protect the Indian exporters against unforeseen losses, to facilitate availability of adequate bank finance to the Indian exporters by providing surety insurance, to achieve improved performance in terms of profitability, financial and operational efficiency, etc. To develop world-class expertise in credit insurance among employees and ensure continuous innovation and achieve the highest customer satisfaction by delivering top quality service. So here customer satisfaction is nothing but the export industries or exporters rather. To educate the exporters by continuous publicity and effective marketing. Export credit insurance for exporter. So these are the objectives of ECGC Limited. Now various policies given by ECGC to the exporters, and you can see the details in from pages 148 to 158. Okay, so these are all policies only which are given by the ECGC for the purpose of providing export credit insurance or covering the export insurance risks. Okay, that's about lesson 70. Now lesson 18, basics of export. Okay, what do you mean by export? Export of goods or exporting of goods from India to another country or any country to another country is taught as exports. Okay, four common misconceptions about exporting. You have to be big to export. No need. You can start with a small export order. Only thing is that you need to get an export order from another country, another customer or a buyer of another country. To export, you must have a big export department. Not required. You can have a small size department who can handle the marketing, finance, transportation, and insurance related activities of the export order. To export, you must have substantial volume. Not required. You can have a small volume. Only thing, you need to have a buyer for buying that particular volume of goods from you. You need to have a foreign buyer. That is an importer. You must be fluent in foreign languages to export. No, occasionally management will cite the lack of in-house foreign language capability as an impediment to entry into international trade. While it is true that foreign languages skill are helpful when negotiating export agreements, they are not essential. Your export potential. While it is true that the technical details of selling abroad are quite different than those used when selling domestically, such details are reasonably standardized and available to all those who want to learn them. Okay. Making the export decision. Once a company determines that it has exportable products, it must still consider whether development of an export business adheres to company objectives. Okay. Like management's export experience, management and personal requirements available, production capacity for export orders, financial capacity for export orders, etc. Okay. And there are various things available like export plan, outlining the export plan, etc. to be done before starting an export. Okay. And there are various export intermediaries available to market your goods or export items abroad. So there are export items, export merchants, export commission houses, export broker, a buyer for export, piggyback marketing, export trading companies, for freight forwarder, etc. Now you need to locate an importer or agent or distributor in a foreign country. That means it has to be found out by the exporter for the marketing of its goods. Okay, these are the things covered in lesson 18, basics of export. Now to lesson 19, packaging and labeling. Okay, there are three common methods of pricing exports. Domestic pricing is a common but not necessarily accurate method of pricing exports. Export pricing are a separate area apart from domestic pricing, because export involves a great amount of logistical costs and other related costs. Okay. Now, and effective packaging and labeling. Proper packaging of agricultural products is essential to maintaining quality during transportation and marketing. Packaging serves to enclose the product and facilitate handling. Domestic packaging and export packaging are two different areas, because in export packaging, durability and maintaining the quality of the goods inside the package are utmost important, because for export areas the goods should be stored for a long period of time. Packaging must withstand rough handling during loading and unloading during export. Compression from the overhead, weight of other containers, etc. should be maintained. Impact and vibration during transportation. High humidity during pre-cooling, transit and storage, etc. are for export orders when compared to domestic packaging. And there are various types of packaging materials specifically available for export. Okay, now to various types of equipment used for exporting or the stacking or the loading of containers, loading of packages onto different containers and transporting it to the destination, from source to destination. Okay, and there are various loading methods and providing air circulation, temperature monitoring, recording of temperature, etc. available in the containers, and a separate area for air cargo as well as sea cargo available. These are the things covered in lesson 19. Now to lesson 20, pre-shipment inspection. Pre-shipment is nothing but before shipment. The load will be inspected for its uniqueness and appeal. Okay, and there are coverage, article 1 coverage and the definitions of these. This agreement shall apply to all pre-shipment inspection activities carried out on the territory of members, that means exporters. The term user member means a member of which the government or any a government body contracts for or mandates the use of pre-shipment inspection. The government can order pre-shipment activities before export. And these are where there are various rules and regulations concerning the pre-shipment inspection imposed by the government members. Okay, and various obligations under the law regarding Indian as well as foreign countries are to be maintained by the exporter. And these are the things covered in lesson 20 and unit 5. Thank you very much.